Hello, now then, welcome back. This is episode 17 of the Iron Glide Iron Teeth hard mode playthrough. We are in a little bit of a bad tide at the minute. 12 days left to go on this. We are looking a-okay from water storage point of view. This will probably dry out, which will be bad. And last time I decided it would be a great idea to ditch underground power, and I'm going to make a giant pit so we can see all of the nice spinning wheels. So today, we are going to do some cheesing, I guess is the best way to describe it, to be able to dig this pit and be able to build everything in the future. We are also going to need to get down in here at some point, but that is going to be its own headache, which will probably mean another one of these abominations here. But for the time being, we will worry about that later. So, for the benefit of the beavers, we started building this up here. Oh, they finished labour on it. Nice. This up here, as we want to move all of the housing away from here, which we demolished a little bit last time, up to here. And we did lay in various locations, several stations for the tubeways, but you'll notice there's a distinct lack of actual tubes. So, this episode is going to be concentrating on the budge for this and getting in some better pathfinding for the beavers to get out and about. Now, getting them to where we want them to go is going to be a bit painful because of the way this land is, but we were going to basically run a little thing around here and try and hook it into here and then run another line. I'm not sure where, but to get over to here so that we can try and cut out some of this area. Could probably do with another station put down somewhere else, to be fair, and then with that they can get to the areas down here. Move some bits and pieces around. We will expand it eventually, but right now, I think let's just pause these guys. Getting connectivity to sort of the main areas, which is sort of down here where the water storage is, up here where the beavers will be living, and up here where the beavers are making stuff. There's still a bit of a walk for them to do, but we can make that a bit more efficient later. So, without further ado, we also laid in some more metal production. Not that we have the beavers for this, but we will do shortly because we're going to have to turn off some of the water pumps as we have no need for pumping it because it's dry. So let's just get a bit ahead of that game. I'm going to leave 3 turned on, and yes, it's a waste of resources, but if I forget to turn them back on, at least we're still pumping something. Did we actually manage to get most of it now? We're about 2,000 off, but it's fine. It's good enough for what we need. So, I guess we've had a bit of a death wave. Yes, we have. As expected, it's one of those things, unfortunately, the beavers are going to have to deal with. So, the path we're going to run for this initially is coming straight down here, and then maybe bringing it out a bit further and running straight down somehow. We're down here? I'm not sure. But first, we need to put this in. So, I laid these dynamites to clear this path last time, so let's just delete these from existence. And we should have, somewhere in here, tubes. We should be able to get this to at least to there. And that should chew through pretty much most of our resources. We are also going to need this one, so we may as well also lock it now. I do not want to build on top of these. That was my original thought, but I'm not going to do that now. So I'm just going to drop this in here. And in theory, we should be able to join those up nicely. I'm going to get this emptied as the storage over here is pretty much doing the whole job that we need it to do, so get rid of that. Hopefully the haulers can rip all that out quickly enough. Just 11 more to go. It should be empty. There we go. So, say goodbye to that. And we are now, at least somewhat, this way. So, this was originally the main bad water pumping area, as I put this in to collect all of that. What might be an idea to maybe get a bit more growth in is to drop that down. We'll worry about that later. So, the plan, if it is such a thing, would be to shoot this all the way across to here and somehow hook it into this. Now, with the trees in the way, I think we have to go up quite a way to get this to actually work. And building that might be a bit difficult. Although they'll be in the tubes, actually, so maybe not so much. So, I mean, if we just build this... No, before you get too excited. So we are now up and over. So with the plan, my plan would be to basically do this and run that straight across somehow. That wants to be a 2. That does get us over the trees, so we are going to have to lose this guy here. So let's just get this guy deleted. And I would like that to be done as soon as humanly possible. Beaverly possible. I know what I meant. While we're waiting for that, we can just lay in this. With any luck, they could go in the tubes and build this. Whether they do or not is a very different question. I'm not sure, but we'll find out later. Wants to be a 2, and then another one of these on top. That brings us beautifully to there, so that should be just another 2, and another one of these. And another one of those. And we have this nice monorail for the beavers to utilize here. Wants to be a 3. And I'm hoping this actually will work, but we'll find out shortly together. Probably won't do, but let's just shoot all that away across there. We're going to need this guy and this guy to, I think. And that should be those hooked in theory. I believe it is, but that will probably sink a lot of our resources for the metal, which I guess it is what it is. But yeah, it looks like they can using the tubes to build that, which is exactly what we wanted. So that's ideal. And we haven't really lost, we lost a single oak out of all that, which is perfect for what we need. Similar story is probably going to be just as easy to drag it this way somehow. That's quite a tall order to get it up to here, but I think I want to build a massive pylon, running it down and through here, all the way across that. But we'll just let them work on that bit for now. So, next bit of this puzzle is going to be this bad boy. So, if you watched the last one, it was a case of I'm going to cheese this by using construction bridges, which is going to be quite costly from a wood point of view, but it will allow us to build anything and everything that's in here. Can they, if they build off the side? Yeah, I don't think I need to lay that one in, so that's fine. Okay, so let's just put the abomination paths in. Yes, it's hideously ugly. I know. I'm sorry. I will at least make it somewhat presentable. That will consume a boatload of planks and logs, but we might be okay for the planks, actually. Well, not while this is being constructed, to be fair. But they should do this first, as it is the priority. So with any luck, I can get that sorted sooner rather than later. Let's... where's the thingamajigger, this thing? We could run it that way, actually. Straight out the back there. Might actually a little bit better, because then we not cutting into quite so much farming. So I think we'll do that. Run it this way. Down this side here. So I'll just be stepping down this way when we get around to it. But it is not the priority for right now. We've got 5 days left in the bad tide. The water is not probably going to last all those 5 days in here. But these should have plenty of resistance from the drought. So... metal is holding steady. We've got another... oh good, they can come up this way. So good, that's exactly what we want to see, because they're now building from both ends, so that should fly through. We are going to have to worry, I think, a bit about the... are we full on gears? We are full on gears, so let's just pause these guys. Hopefully they get someone into here. Which we are, good. Let's see, power is also okay. That's fine. That just needs to be hit with a hammer to get finished, which is what we need them to do sooner rather than later. Right, so what did we also do for their benefit last time? I think we added the coffee, the barista area. So let's see, we can get rid of that, and I think this also just needs a tank. Probably a bit too much of a tall order for that. However, it's probably going to be ideal to be used for supplying coffee everywhere. So this will be a supply. The coffee guy can just dump them straight in, so we don't need to worry too much about using haulers to deal with that. We have 3 beavers doing nothing, so let's just stick one in there. The pools are out of action, unfortunately. Just a bit of a shame. We have got the monuments up here, which is good. And those are done, so that's okay. So they shouldn't take too long to go in. We had enough metal to do that, which is what we wanted to see. And once they've done that, they should spend all their efforts up here, so that's a-okay for what we need. So once this power's in, we're then going to focus on getting bots to do all the tedious jobs, like looking after these water dumps, fluid dumps, and sort of going from there, really. I would like to block in some of the contamination here, just to stop some of this badness. We could cap them, I suppose, but don't really want to do that. Okay, you're in there. That's injured. That's okay. 3 days left of the bad tide, so that's fine. We've got plenty of wood keeping up. That's okay. So yeah, it's just a case of waiting for the beavers to get round the queue at this point. So I guess what we can do while we're waiting is landscape ourselves some lovely boomsticks. And with these cheesed construction cranes, we should be able to build all of that without too much fuss. They may need... no, this says they can reach it. I wondered if we needed a path up this way, but it doesn't look like we do, so that's fine. And we are out of that, so that's got 8 days. That's got 16 days, even though it says 6, which always confuses me, but whatever. Luckily, we've got 2 days left. This fluid dump's keeping all of this alive, so that's exactly what we want to see. And berries will be also fine. So with this now working for us, we can at least get from the main district down here to up here. That's much easier. I'm going to let the metal recover just a little bit because it's going to be a while for that. And I think, what do these need to take to build? Logs and planks. So let's make this a tiny bit more efficient. Logs as an obtain. Just get that built first. And another one of these. And you should be for planks as an obtain. Turn this confusing thing off. And once those are built, which they are, get the haulers in to fill this with goods. So the builders can quickly, well, they have to go to the opposite side of the map to get any materials to build these bridges, and that should make things a little bit easier for them. Again, tick that. And with that done, the builders can then concentrate on setting the dynamite into here. So we're going to have to blast all this down as quickly as possible. Then we can start laying in our power wheels, which will come a little bit later after this. So with any luck, we should get 2 side by side, and then we've got the areas here which probably could do with not being exploded, but I don't exactly know how I'm going to connect all this together just yet, so I've just blasted them all out. We're probably going to end up sticking them on top of each other, to be fair, because the power wheels on here, big ones, assuming I've done this right. Not one of those. It'll let me put it somewhere. Here. Yes. That's the power for these. Can't go onto the sides, I don't believe. It's only on the front. Oops. Yes, it is. So that breaks a few things for my plan that I've just put in. Well, well, well. Well, well, well. Okay, so redesign on the fly. Let's see how this is going to work then. So I'm going to need to dig down even further. So right, so everything we've just done here has been pretty much for a waste of time. So we could just lay in a million of the little ones. Aha, but tide has ended. This is good. I am half tempted at this point now to lay in just a million of these rather than these. As I've disappointed myself by not getting this to work properly. Decisions. What would be the best way to deal with this? As of right now... Well, I guess it's going to be a case of blowing more space out, but I need to be careful as I don't really have the land for that. Not on this side anyway. So... I always hit the wrong one. We're going to need to do this. Just put that one in there. Typical. Let's just get rid of that, and I would like these to be removed. I don't think there's anything else that's going to stop us doing that up here. No, good. Right, so let's just lay in this. They're probably not going to be able to get to that because it's too far away. So let's fix that. And I would like that doing as soon as humanly possible. Let's just check the water situation. So water's now flowing through here. Wasted 2 days of not pumping time. Let's just fix that. What a lovely sound. Right, so with any luck, we shall see some water getting pumped in. So we've got 6,000 to make up, near enough, just over. Let's see, landscaping. Let's just blow this out. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pain because we're going to have to blow out all of these extra channels that I wasn't anticipating, but never mind. Can we do that? Does that... I'm going to see if that works, actually. I'm not sure what that will do. We have explosives? Yes, we have explosives. Okay, so is it because we've only got one? No, there are two, so they're probably all now digging. Right, so that'll have to wait a while. Let's see, the metal's rebounded nicely on that. We probably could look to concentrate on getting this extra step put in here now at this point, so let's do that. I believe that was a 3, which it is, so let's just quickly lay this in. That's good. Let's think about this properly, shall we? Let's just, if we put in a 2 here. And get the tubes in. I guess for this corner, it's probably just as easy to build these. Oops. Don't want to do that. We need 3 here. And then we jump down to 2. Got a drought approaching, so that's nothing too much to worry about. Hopefully with the beavers pumping between the 3 days that we've got, we should be able to fill these tanks up quite nicely. What are you doing? Get out. Let's chuck this in. Hang this off into the void. Now this is where this is going to get interesting, I think. As we're going to need to be up quite high for this, but I'm hoping that'll benefit us to get this side sorted easier. So let's see. We need to remove this guy. That's top priority. Yeah, coffee's going up, which is nice. That should keep this guy nice and busy if there was anyone in there. But we don't. Probably need to look at building the beaver population up, so it's probably time to change a tank or 2 to... one of these bigger tanks. So I guess we should look to lay that in there. I'd rather that be done over everything else. Is this going to get done by anyone? It's too far from the district. Right. And why is it too far from the district? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Will this one path here make it reachable? No. Well, suffice to say, I'm very disappointed. It seems that it's set to try us on this one, so let's just rip those out. Water's going up nicely. That's obviously not happening at night. It's not too much of a problem. Let's just get rid of this. Get rid of that. Now, if that's a tunnel, we don't have to worry too much about that. Yeah, we're kind of stuck. So with this now ripped out, I'm hoping that they can do that. Good. You can now reach. Fantastic. Awesome. So let's see how we need to... So the drought will start soon. Water is... back to sort of mostly where it was. That's okay, but let's see. So that's going to have to be at least a 3 and a 2. And I would put a large amount of money that I'm going to have the same problem here. Let's just rip that out. Oh, they can reach. Fantastic. Okay. Well, in that case then, I'll have another 3 and another 2. And another one of these. And just where that tree is beautifully placed. So let's just hopefully rip that out. Of course it is. Okay, that's the drought. So, as we did last time, I'm just going to pause this side. That gives us plenty of beavers. So they should all now be employed elsewhere. So we should have people back in here. This is going to be painful to deal with. They won't be able to deal with it from up top. I don't particularly want to dig a path all the way through this, but I think I'm going to have to. So just rip it all out. Just make it all be gone. I suppose I didn't necessarily need to do that, but whatever. Oops. And please rip them out. And we should be able to repeat the process here. Again with one of these. We're going to need to dig out, I think, this guy. And no doubt this will be too far for the district to be ripped out. Maybe not. Oh, fantastic. Good. So this should be a case of 2 3s and another one of these. And I'm hoping at this point we can maybe switch them around. Just so that we're not having to deal with these oaks that are up here. So let's see. That wants to be a 2. And we are still quite a way up from here, but we can just get the tube line to run straight up that one. But we are perfectly in here. We're going to have to buy another thing for that. No matter, it's going to be fine. 1.8k, yeah, we'll do it. And we'll need a 2, a 1, and we will then just use this bad boy. And we should be able to then connect all of this up as far as the eye can see. With any luck, they'll also be able to build from both ends, and we're going to be kind of stuck until some of the construction's done. Certainly on this side, so I don't know if these guys coming this way will get all of this done before this is done, but this should, in theory, once these are built, should mean we can get a lot of that work sorted fairly easily. We will just have to let them get round to that as they can. And I think it's probably an idea to let the beavers get on with it for that. So that was quick for that one anyway. That shouldn't take them too long to get that sort, and then they can just start running straight across there. Okay, so with that sorted, we have pretty decent connections to the opposite sides of the farms now. So, and what will eventually be the living area. Okay, so that's complaining that we haven't got any dynamite, which is technically correct. We don't. It's going to take a while, so that little cheese worked beautifully, so let's just lay in a 3 on here. So we didn't have to cut the tree down. It saved us some time. And I think what we'll do is prioritize this back here. Over the what's in the pits, so then we can at least get it down to the right level. So they should be getting to tear through that, which they are doing, which is good. It's probably a long way for the beavers to actually go and get all the bits and pieces to put all that in, but it is one of those things, fortunately. Let's see, we have quite a few injured beavers actually, so first of all, rip that out. These were kohlrabies, let's put these back in. These were cassavas, I believe. Yes. Put them bad boys back in. So we didn't lose too much from a farming or tree point of view to get all that in. So with that, you can have a bit of a benefit of getting things done a bit quicker. I didn't know they made sound. Nice. Okay, so I'll get them to lay that in as quickly as they can. We are going to need to do something from a hospital point of view, as we have quite a few injured beavers. So the current area is over here, and they're pretty full, to be fair. So I think we will put in a little bit of a hospital wing somewhere. Possibly up here, to be honest. So let's just get some well-being. Is it in here? Yep. I'm just going to go with that for now. And I will say that these are very important. So we've got a bit down here, which will be fine. We're going to need to get them sorted quickly for the poorly beavers. And hopefully we can get some of those beavers back to work. Although we do have plenty of beavers that aren't actually employed at the minute, so that's fine. We could probably get them topping the gears back up. I think they are full, so might be an idea to make hay while the sun shines. I think the gear storage is down here somewhere. It's a path. Yeah, so that's a lot of gears. What's in here? Explosive, nothing. So let's just change this for gears. And then the gear guys can get right on it. So let's just unpause that. And we're going to be stuck behind dynamite for a while, I think. just because. How many do these take to build? 1 explosive, 2 extract. Okay, fine. At least we're not stuck behind extracts. That's okay. This shouldn't take too long to get in. Metal blocks are holding steady, so that's only 1 each. If we do need planks, we do have the abandoned pit down here, which should have plenty of things in him, to be fair. So what I am going to do is rip these out. So this was the original idea, to hide it all underground like I did in the last playthrough, and I thought, no, let's do something different, just for funsies. And in theory, we should be able to do this. So there should be enough planks there to sink the Titanic, and there should be enough spare for them to just pick it as when they're needed. Not that it really fixes much, but it will make things a little bit easier if we delete these and put the longer ones in, which we're going to have to do. So let's see. Even the 6x don't get us all the way there, so probably have to put a path in to run all the way down the back. But we'll just replace them one by one. I'm quite excited for this to get finished, actually. I'm hoping it's taken too long. The main thing is the sink on the those, but that's where the planks that I've just deleted, not deleted, but made a decent hole for, should come in and make things a little bit easier for them. We could probably look to do with expanding the explosives factory. It's not really a problem with Badwater, but that is probably a problem for these guys to pick up, actually. If we get the haulers in to deal with whatever their needs are, that's hopefully going to be... Let's crunch some numbers up the science, as we've used quite a bit of it. Should... It's using more than it should be, but let's just turn one of those on. We should be now... Okay, no. It's just a little bit more than we have. Never mind, we'll turn on both engines. I think it's worth it. Just because we can up the science and get that topped up. I am going to also... I am going to pause some more of these. Do I need to? No, I don't think. I'm not actually. I've changed my mind. We'll leave them pumping. We haven't got any jobs for them to go into. So, let's see. Food is looking very good. We are going to need to get... this guy can get to everything, so that's fine. Just slow going, I think. Yeah, probably just slow going. All right, and then it's just going to be a case of getting through it. So, eggplants, that's these ones from last time. So I unplanted these last time, and they still haven't ripped them out the ground, because corn seems to be pretty much self-sufficient. So I'm going to rip these out without too much of a worry, and convert them into eggplants. They follow the beaver, I think. think I'll put them down here as well. So with any luck, that should be good enough to boost what they require from a food point of view. There are a few other bits and pieces we need to put in, so I think from a canola point of view, well, the oil certainly is fine. Got a full tank of that, which is keeping up with the production of all of these. We don't have a lot of mangrove fruits, but that kind of is what it is. There isn't too much area that we actually have set aside for being filled with water, to be fair, so it's probably going to be like that for a while. We could look to move into the hydroponic gardens, but these take a lot of water, which it's probably not a problem for us at the minute. But that should give us all the other bits and pieces we need for the food. Let's just have a look at the well-being. Soybeans, mushrooms. Yeah, okay. And algae. Are we not building any soybeans? I say building. Well, it's cassavas. Okay. So I wonder then if it's worth. Do we have any soybeans? We don't. But we could. Corn eggs, that is an eggplant, I do believe. Yeah, and that's coping fine. Okay, so I think then if we just lay these in for now, just put them in there. This can be for the soybeans. But we don't need to do it quite yet. As we need to grow the things first, so let's just get them planted. I don't exactly know how much each one of these is going to take to then be fermented. Let's get more seeds, that's the rations, so I'm going to need some more storage for sure. And that's going to be for the fermented soybeans, I think. Maybe a little premature, I suppose, but here's what it is. Yeah, we are going to need to store these things. Probably need to sort out farming a bit more fundamentally at some point else, but let's just get those laid in. I should get those planted quickly. Let's see how they go. So we need to get them in here somehow, don't we? So that's the easiest way of doing up 3 levels, I guess, as this seems to have become the de facto storage area. So put another one on there. How do we get them down? Let's see. I suppose that, but if I wanted to use this for more storage, I'm kind of scuppered. Tell you what I can do. Tell you what I can do. It's a bit convoluted. But if I do this, set that to be the highest priority. Take those stairs. Oh no, they needed to be in. I do need to run a path that way. And then the stairs here. And the path there. And then if I want to put anything on here, I can. I have the perfect space for it. And this is now going to be for the soybeans. It will be shortly, so don't fret. Has the path been put through there, or is it not? There we go. Missing the path, but we're in now. So in theory, once these are grown, there's somewhere for them to dump it. There's not too far for them to go. It's probably made things a little bit more efficient, I suppose. Wonder if it's worth. It could be worth getting. Where is it? We stick another one of these in here. Like so. And then we do a little sneaky step up, like so. Maybe not that one, but definitely one of these ones. But if that goes in, then we have a quick and sneaky access to get the farmers down into here to do everything, and then we can just delete this and... we can't do that. We cannot do that. We cannot do that at all. Yeah, no, we can't do that. I was thinking we could take this out, put some stairs in, but then we'd lose access on the paths, which would not be the ideal. Never mind. We don't need a path there anyway, but we could have looked to do something a bit cleverer with that, but alas, it's not to be. But it does mean that we can get into this area pretty quickly as well. And if we want to do something over here, we can now use this bad boy to access this side of the map if we wanted to. So we are out of water, but we've got spare beavers, so they can just stay there. That's not a problem. How are they getting on with this? Probably not, because I bet you they can't reach. So let's fix that. As we have 109 dynamites, so they should be able to get those laid in pretty quick. There we go. Let's get those removed. And we can lay in, finally, the last pieces of this puzzle here. Yeah, the lack of path was my bad. I will endeavour to forget for next time. I mean, remember. definitely remember. Oops, wrong button. So, so the hypertubes are working exactly as intended, so they can get straight across there. We shouldn't see many people coming this way, to be fair. What we like for water in this? Oh, we got quite a bit of water actually, so that should last the entire drought, I think, without drying up. Not that it'll cause us too much issues. And we've got a stop lamp here, which is fine. We ideally could have something that's do it for a bit of stoppage down here, but we could just run that out. Maybe across this and then just put it here. Yeah, it could be fitting there actually, but it's getting the tube in that's going to be the problem. Well, maybe not a problem actually. In fact, I'm gonna let's blast this out. That's top priority. And when that's gone, I'm gonna lay this here. And then is that seemingly a 3? Yeah, I believe it's a 3. Let me just double check. Yes, it's a 3. Blasting that through there, and then we should be able, in theory, to make the beavers' lives just a little bit easier. So I'm hoping that brings us out to there, which is absolutely perfect. Detonate that, and now with the power of this thing, oh, go away. It's a bit janky, but it will do the job for us. And we have a nice little thing here, so maybe we can do a little bit of... they can have a nice clock here to see what time it is to finish for the day. So let's just put that in. And that shouldn't take them too long. They could just rip up both sides of there. So we've now happily connected this area together. It's still a little bit of a dodgy route to get to this stuff and down here, but walking distance wise, it's not too bad. They should be able to move a lot quicker. We are finally done up here, so let's just detonate all of this. Cause the computer some pain. And now finish this off. I don't know how much of this they'll actually be able to build without changing these bridges, but we'll find out shortly. I think they won't be able to build these. Yeah, I thought so. Is there going to be an easy way to cheese this? I do not think so. I do not believe so. So I think it's going to be... Sadly, goodbye to those. Actually, yeah, let's just unlock that. And I'm hoping... I'm hoping that that will do us. It won't. It won't do us at all. Sigh. Okay, right. How do we fix this? How do we fix this? It's going to be... It's going to have to be some... It's going to have to be that. And unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it. And I suppose if we're going that far, we may as well put that one in. We'll end up with some nice little overhangs and whatnot, so that'll be quite nice for us to look at, I guess. But it does mean we can reach everything now, so it's ideal for what we need. And it will delete these trees for us for free, which will be quite nice. But it does mean we can now blow all this out without too much of an issue, so we'll leave them to worry about that. And I think for the last thing today is going to turn these back on. So that's pretty much equilibrium with the beavers. There's one spare job, oh never mind, someone was born, so that's perfect. We do have some injured beavers, so actually there is probably a bit of a sparage of beavers, so they should be well taken care of in the old nursing district here. But yeah, I think for now that'll do for this episode. So we've pretty much fixed walking from one side of the map to the other by using these bad boys. So I think we're in a good state with those. We should be getting some soybeans in, not many, but some. It's probably worth thinking about getting this prioritized by haulers, to be fair, so that increase the efficiency. So we'll do that just as we're wrapping up. Yeah, so we've increased some of the food available to them. I think we're going to need more than this, but we've got this area underneath here we can plant some more in, which we've got coverage from this guy. We've started sorting this out. It's going to have to wait until a lot of these bits and pieces are done for this. We're going to need to path it, obviously, as is the way. But it shouldn't take them too long to get that in. Let's just get that just for OCD purposes. So yeah, we are, I think, finally conquering the map to be less of a problem for the beavers' survival. The water, this needs digging out deeper. That is on the list of things. Although if the droughts don't stop coming in, it's going to be quite painful. But either way, with this full, we should be able to get this topped up to full without too much of an umbrage for the beavers. But yeah, with that, I will say goodbye. If you have any comments, please check down below, and I'll see you guys next time.